give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to World of Tanks with Scout. This will be our second video of the new year, and we're going to cover another new tank. That's right, we're going to be going over the Tier 6 British Cromwell medium tank. What I want to do with this tank today is I want to take you through the stats right quick, give you an idea of what it looks like. I'm going to throw up tank compare, let you know how it stacks up to some of the other Tier 6 medium tanks that are kind of competing for its niche on the battlefield, and then get straight into some mastery badge gameplay to show you how this tank plays. If stats don't interest you, if that's not your thing, as always, you can click on the annotation in the top left corner of the screen and it'll take you straight to the gameplay. And without further ado, let's get right into the Cromwell. As you can see here in the garage, it's got 750 hit points. In my configuration, it weighs 28.33 tons. The limit is 29.5. 650 horsepower engine. 64 km/h top speed, which is really what the Cromwell is known for, is that top speed. 36 degree per second traverse speed, doesn't turn all that well. Its armor is about average for the Tier 6 medium tanks, but as you can see here in the garage, and we'll touch on it again in the comparison later, the problem with the armor on the Cromwell is that it's all flat. It's not angled at all except for that little plate right there. But you know, if you're playing medium tanks, armor is not really what you're going in for. We'll come back to the gun. Turret traverse 48 degrees per second. Excellent turret traverse speed, makes it really good for dogfighting, knife fighting. View range, not that great. 360 meter base. I run mine with coated optics to get my view range up to 411 meters. And then signal range is 550 meters, and a little bit on the low side, but it's workable. Looking at the gun, it uses this 75mm Vickers high velocity gun, 15.38 rounds per minute, 145 millimeters of average penetration at 100 meters, average damage 135, 0.36 accuracy, and 2.3 second aim time. Really, it's not a bad gun. It's pretty average for your Tier 6 mediums in most respects, and a little bit above average in terms of penetration, actually, and certainly in rate of fire. So, really not a lot to complain about here with the Cromwell, except maybe the flatness of its armor. In terms of how this tank stacks up, well, and that's where things get a little bit interesting. At Tier 6, I really think is where your medium tanks kind of separate out into three distinct classes of medium tanks. You got your cruiser tanks, for lack of a better word, from the UK cruiser tank program. These are your dogfighting tanks, your fast tanks, your pursuit cavalry tanks, if you want to go historical with it. But in World of Tanks, they're the tanks that are designed to get in and knife fight, flank, and shoot into the side of other tanks. Then you've got your support tanks. They're the tanks that are a little bit more mobile than tank destroyers, a little bit more flexible than tank destroyers because they have a turret, and they're designed to provide some fire support. And then you've got your kind of your all-around tanks that are not particularly fast. They don't have a particularly high penetration gun, but they're not really bad at anything either. And generally they're characterized by excellent gun soft statistics. We're talking elevation and depression, things like that give them the flexibility to excel in any situation. When you think cruiser tanks, dogfighting tanks, you think the Cromwell, you think the T-34-85, you think the VK 3001P, I think it is, and the D actually. Those are the kind of tanks that the Cromwell is competing against. But you see the other tanks it doesn't really compete against, in my opinion, because you think VK 3002M, Sherman Firefly, these are tanks that don't have great traverse speed, don't really have breakaway speed, they just have fantastic guns. Those are your fire support tanks. And then your all-around tanks, think Easy 8 Sherman, the tanks with great gun depression, great gun elevation, a good strong turret mantle. These are the tanks that, you know, no matter what map you're in, no matter what situation you're in, they're going to be able to look after themselves. They may not shine as much as a dogfighting tank in some situations or a support tank in others, but they're not going to flop if they don't get the map that they need either. And that's what I think of when I think of the Easy 8. And then you got your outliers, of course, the Cheeto and the Jumbo. They're kind of weird. They don't really fit into any category. In a lot of ways, they're more like heavy tanks. But so those are the three categories of tanks. Keeping that in mind and the statistics of the Cromwell that we just went over, let's throw it up on Tank Compare, and I'll show you right quick how it stacks up. So here we've got Tank Compare up. And as you can see, I've pulled up, again, the three main dogfighting tanks that really jump out at me at Tier 6, the Cromwell, the VK3001D, and the T3485. There are some others, the 3001P, the Type 58 on the Chinese, which is really kind of a T3485. But I think these will suffice to get the point across. So if we look at the stats, we should have top values already selected. Yep, you can see that the 750 hit points that the Cromwell has is not bad, right in the middle, all the way down to 720 for the T3485, 770 for the VK. Signal range of 550, again, middle of the road. Speed limit, again, like we talked about in the garage, this is where the Cromwell excels. It's 64 kilometers per hour. It is easily, far and away, the fastest medium tank. I think the 3001P variant is the German medium tank that can almost but not quite keep up with the Cromwell. Off the top of my head, I don't think any medium tank can keep up with the Cromwell. That is really where she shines. Speed limit back is a wash. Weight, it's pretty light for a Tier 6 medium. Both of the other medium tanks here are about 5 tons heavier. The armor, again, as we're looking at it, it's a wash. It's all pretty equivalent. Just keep in mind, though, the VK3001D and the T3485, as you can see by their pictures up here, they both have some sloping and angling working for them that the Cromwell does not. So do keep that in mind. Engine power, 650 horsepower, is middle of the road in terms of power, but because of its low weight that we talked about, it does have easily the best horsepower to ton ratio. Traverse speed, again, we talked about in the garage, 36 degrees per second. Pretty low, but as you can see, it's not that much lower than the other tanks that it's competing against, so it's really, in the end, not that bad. Where the Cromwell does shine in terms of mobility is its terrain resistance stats, which far and away better than its competitors. View range, 360 meters. Again, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. You're talking about a difference of 10 meters. To me, though, if I'm going to be out in front, I like to have a better view range. That's why I run Coated Octaves. I want to be able to see out to about 400 meters, so do keep that in mind. And then turret traverse, 48 degrees per second, like we talked about. Dogfighting extraordinary. You can just whip that turret left and right. The gun compares quite favorably as well. 135 points of average damage is about average for this Tier 6 medium tanks. Of course, the T3485 is a slightly bigger gun, but as you can see, its penetration is not as good at 144. Granted, it's only 1 millimeter off, but also keep in mind that it fires much slower. As you can see down here, the Cromwell far and away has the best rate of fire and subsequently the best damage per minute of pretty much any Tier 6 medium. Again, I don't think there is another Tier 6 medium out there that will beat the Cromwell either in terms of top speed or damage per minute. Reload time, of course, because of the rate of fire, is the best. Accuracy 0.36 is not bad at all. Middle of the road here and only 0.01 off of the best of the three tanks shown here. Aim time 2.3 seconds is going to be a wash. That's pretty standard, I've found, for the Tier 6 mediums, 2.3 seconds, no matter which one you're in. Gun depression and elevation is really not bad, -8. You want to be at -10, you know, so you can do everything. But again, it's not the do everything tank, it's a cruiser. So that's not bad. Elevation, though, is not that great at +15 degrees. You will find yourself in some situations where you can't quite aim up as high as you would like to. But again, it's not crippling. And 64 rounds is a pretty good ammo capacity. So there you have it. I really think if you look at all of this, you're going to find that all around, if you're looking for a knife fighting, dog fighting Tier 6 medium that's fast, can get in there and mix it up, you're not going to find a tank that does that better than the Cromwell. Without further ado, let's get straight into that gameplay footage. So here we are on Westfield in a Tier 7 game. You can see we're tiered fairly well. There's only about 5 Tier 7s on the opposing team, and as well as on our team, so that's a good thing. The Cromwell can take care of itself in a Tier 7 match, and I think Westfield is a pretty good map for the Cromwell. What I like to do, you'll typically always spawn down here on the kind of the valley side of the map, if you will, on the south or the northeast respectively, and what I want to do is get up into the southeast corner of the map at about Juliet or Hotel Zero and spot for my team and hopefully push all the way north down to the valley into their flag. You can see that the opposing team has one more medium tank than we do, and their medium tank players are typically better than my teams, with the exception of the Cromwell. The Cromwell and I are rated about the same, so I feel like I'm going to have to be the one that gets forward, to spot and to get into the woods. You know, the bridge at Fox Zero is always kind of where the enemies camp and wait for you. And so I feel like I've got to get up there and spot them. Plus, I'm in the best tank to do it, the Cromwell. The only thing that concerns me doing this is that the enemy Cromwell may be headed up there as well. And he may get in a position to spot me before I can reach these trees to the front of my tank, which is the kind of the safe zone, if you will. If you can get in there before you can get spotted and then you're careful, you typically won't get seen. So you see me dodging and weaving, trying not to knock over trees. And I want to get up here and get in these bushes. So far, so good. Haven't been spotted yet. The Fury is over at Charlie 1, so that is a good thing. That's one less tier 6 medium we'll have to deal with over here. Of course, they've got a Panther, which is slightly concerning. He's probably up here. Now I'm trying to find my position. I want to go forward enough so that the trees aren't blocking my view, but I don't want to get so far forward that I get seen. If you look to my left, fortunately, we got the Fury and the 3002 DB moving up as well. So, I'm sorry, the 3001D moving up as well. So that is a good thing. That means that they can spot off to my left. You do have to be very careful of that when you're doing this, is you can get seen from your left. And there's first contact, the Panther. I put one shot on him until I realized I can hit his track. And that is a great strategy in this tank. If you can track someone like this, your rate of fire is so high that they really can't move. As you can see, we're picking this Panther apart, and there is nothing that he can do about it. Even if he used a repair kit, odds are we could retrack him before he could get away. And we're able to account for the whole of that tier 7 Panther. So that's a huge weight off of my shoulders. Now I'm looking for that M44. I don't know why Ari came way up here. It's a huge risk, and we're going to punish him for it. That shot went a little bit low. Several of them went low, actually, and I'm not sure where that one went. It looked like it might have went right over him, but that blind shot spells the end of the day for that M44. And now we're looking for the Cheeto, who I think is probably below the ridge line. So we're just going to sit and let this develop a little bit. There's the M4 Sherman. We track him. Aiming for his track again. We just want to do damage and hold him here. Unfortunately, as you can see, there was no bushes between him and me like there were the other two vehicles, so I got spotted there and I take a hit from their Cromwell. Fortunately, the first one does no damage. The second one is absorbed by the tracks. Now we've got bushes between him and us, and we'll be rapidly dropping off of his view range. So we're just going to sit. We're not going to burn our repair kit to repair our tracks. Fortunately, our teammates take care of the Cheeto there. Unfortunately, you can see that the town side of the map over in the northwest has gotten totally obliterated. So we're going to have to move out aggressively, take out this Cromwell, and try to get over to the cap. At this point, I feel like this game really isn't going very well, and so I'm going to start playing a lot more aggressively. Using auto aim here, I want to keep moving and punish this Cromwell, kill him if I can. Cognizant of the T-34 to my left, you can see me using the Cromwell, trying to use him as cover and angle my armor. And naturally I get shot the one time I straighten it out. But here I pull in behind the wreck of the Cromwell, again using his as cover from the T-34. It's not that his gun is frightening, it's just that he has a high rate of fire, and I got a feeling I'm going to have to try and carry this, and so I don't want to take any unnecessary damage, not when there's a wreck right there that I can use for cover. 6 seconds, pretty sure I've dropped off of his view, and now we're going to push towards the cap. I'm already thinking right now that I've got the Panzer IV-H and the T-25 too that are going to cap. I'm just going to push through and cover them from the high side. You'll see me typing in chat here. Yep, going up to cover you. And as you can see, I didn't even slow down. I just blew right through the cap. I want to get up here because what I don't want is the T-34 or the Stur Emil or some of these tanks shooting down on my friends while they try to cap. You see the Cromwell moves out pretty well, 22, 21 kilometers per hour, even going up this very steep incline. Now we're finally slowing down to 17 as it really gets to the steepest part, but we've made it up here pretty quickly. Going to try to get a shot into this T-34. There's one. Unfortunately, he's gone down into that crevice. That means we're going to have to go dig him out. I was really worried about the Sturry Meal there, but fortunately the Panzer IV-H killed him, and that allows me to get over here and do serious damage to this T-34. Who, credit to him, he's doing the right thing. He's shooting the vehicles in the cap circle, and he almost killed the Panzer IV-H. Fortunately, I got there just in the nick of time. I'm going to slide down this hill just because I'm stuck there in that hole. I don't think with him right next to me I can get back up the way that I got down there. So I'm going to have to go back around again. And I'm looking at the T-29. That's the guy I want to go after next. So we'll wait again. Don't want to use our repair kit for no reason. Get our tracks back up and start pushing up this hill and try to get over to that T-29. You can see we've managed to pull this game back from the brink. It's now 11 kills on both sides, 4 against 4. And that T-29 is on perilously low health. So if I can just... I'm tempted to YOLO him because I can get around him and it's going to take him at least 2 shots to kill me. The problem is I don't know where that KV-1 is, and that's why I stop here, and I'm going to try to shoot the cupola at the top of his turret. If these don't hit him, I'm hoping he'll at least see them fly over the top of his tank, and it'll take his eyes off that Panzer IV, because I feel like the Panzer IV and the T-25-2 are in a really exposed position right now with these guys right at the top of this hill. Unfortunately, my plan has worked a little too good, and now the T-29 won't take his eyes off of me, and the KV-1's staring me down as well. And now I'm kind of stuck in this hole in a tier 6 medium against a T-29 who is hull down. The absolute worst situation you could be in. So I'm trying to bait a shot here because I think I've got enough horsepower. If he misses, I can get up there and plant one in him or the KV-1. There we go. There's the shot. Now we're going to come up. Going to take the shot at the KV-1. Yep, knew I was going to take a hit from him. And then back down. And there is the sad part. I took a hit, a big old hit from the T-25 AT that I was not expecting to take. And that has reduced me to perilously low health. I'm a one-shot for the T-29. I tried to put one into him because I knew I still had his reload beat, but I couldn't do it. Was trying to take a shot at his cupola there. Couldn't make it, and got taken out by a hull-down T-29. Unfortunately, once I got to this position, there wasn't really much I think I could have done. I probably should have played this a little differently. I wasn't really expecting all 3 of them to be right there. The thing is, I don't even know if I could have gotten down by going to the left and just gotten away and re-engaged from a different direction. Once I got there, I was kind of stuck. And I didn't realize how strong that T-29's position was until I got there. But you know, it wasn't a complete loss. We were able to take the KV-1 out of the equation. And really, I don't feel too bad about this performance at all. Now it's just up to the Tiger P. Can he take out the T-29 and the T-25 AT? And I feel like I've given my team a chance. So let's watch this Tiger P. He's got probably some of the all-around best frontal armor in the game. His turret may not be as strong as that T-29, but he's got an awesome front hull as well as his turret. Whereas the T-29 doesn't. So if the T-29 makes a mistake, the Tiger P can punish him just like that. So now it's down to one-on-one, the Tiger P versus the T-25 AT. Let's see if the Tiger P can pull it out for me, because if he can, this is going to be an outstanding result. Ooh, takes a big old hit there from the T-25. And then he backs down. I'm not sure why he didn't go up and take the shot, but he was able to get it from right there, so it was probably a good play. Probably clipped the top of the T-25. T-25 bounces him. Tiger P returns fire and is able to secure the kill with his second shot, giving our team the win. So outstanding result there. Let's take a look at the result screens. So here we have the results of our battle on Westfield. As I said, this was my mastery badge in the Cromwell. Probably only the second or third game I played after getting it completely kitted out. We also got the Fire for Effect ribbon, the Fighter's ribbon for killing 5 enemy tanks, Duelist ribbon for killing 2 that damaged us, and Bruiser for getting 5 or more critical hits. If we take a look at the team score, you can see that we were able to inflict 2,238 points of damage and secure 5 kills, giving us a total of 1,185 base experience. And together with the Tiger P, we really carried this team. The 2 of us accounted for 2/3 of the enemy team, which is pretty amazing. Then the E-25 picked up 2 and some others here and there. But as you see, by and large, the enemy team outperformed our team. We just kind of got lucky there at the end with the Tiger P, and I got kind of lucky in the middle where my Valley Run was really wildly successful, especially being able to take out that Panther like that. That was a huge, huge help. Moving on to the detailed report, you can see that we fired 29 shots, of which 22 hit, 18 of those penetrating, giving us our total of 2,238 points of damage, over half of which was from a distance of more than 300 meters, which is actually pretty unusual for me when I'm playing the Cromwell. I played it more of a support tank there in the beginning, but you just, the VK or the Firefly wouldn't have had the speed to get into that position, which is why the Cromwell is such a great tank on big maps like that. We took 6 hits, 5 of those penetrated, 1 kind of, I think that's the one that was absorbed by the tracks, giving us 135 points of damage, blocked by armor. No, we bounced a shot from the Cromwell. That's what that is. And that's pretty par for the course. You're not going to bounce very many shots in this Cromwell, so don't have high expectations for your armor. We only spotted 1 enemy tank, but we damaged 6 and destroyed 5, 1 off of the Top Gun there. And also got credit for 610 points of assistance damage. I think a lot of that was on that Panther as well. After repair and rearm, we were able to pull home 13,065 of our 29,000 credits. And again, 1,185 base experience. So that's it for my review of the Cromwell. Bottom line, I think it is the best knife fighting tank at tier 6. If that's your style, if that's what you want to do, go with the Cromwell. It's really not going to let you down. You can force it into some long range engagements and do well, as you saw me do on this map. It's not going to shine as much as a VK or maybe a Sherman Firefly, but what the Cromwell can do is get to positions that neither of those tanks could get to without assuming a lot of risk. So that's an additional capability that the Cromwell has that some other medium tanks don't. Biggest tip is just use your speed. Get to an advantageous position and then hold it down either through superior dogfighting or just play it safe and take your shots when they're there and wait for your team to catch up. And you'll really do well with this tank. So that's it. I hope you enjoy your Cromwell. I hope you got something out of this review and found it useful. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.